Welcome to another episode of AniBreak, your source for news on anime, manga, and video games. My name's Jason, and this week we had a wide assortment of topics to discuss. Let's talk first off about some stuff about Miku. I mean, Miku's a big all over the world, especially in Japan, and starting over here in the States as well. There was a new commercial that we showed last week that Miku was teaming up with FamilyMart. So you can actually, they have a bunch of like Miku buns and a bunch of different Miku-related items that you can purchase for a limited time. And of course, in Japan, that's going to sell like hotcakes. It's going to sell out everywhere, and they're going to be used for collectible items. I don't know how well like a Miku meat bun will last, but I'm sure people will still buy it anyways. There was a small commercial, and because it's so short, I'm actually just going to play it again so you guys can relive the 15 seconds of magic that they created.
今、ミクラブズファミマキャンペーンやってます。あなたとコンビニファミリーマート。
So there's that. I mean, it's cute. It's Miku. It makes sense in terms of how they're tying this into the store. I'll give them props. It looks good, and I understand that. Less than a week, maybe 10 days. There's a fan that's come out and made their own version of these commercials with an SD Miku, the big head, super deformed. And this was just a little bit creepy, especially the commercial that they make, the fake commercial they make, is still like 10 to 15 seconds long. But then they went on for like another 45 seconds and showed like little behind the scenes, kind of like what they did with the official Miku commercial. But this one's just kind of creepy. So let's play this and we'll talk more afterwards.
セブンアイセブンイレブンイブン
今ミクラブズセブンキャンペーンやってます。
ミクだよセブンイレブンイブン
休憩終わりです。休憩終わりなんですけど。
はい
カット。セリフも動きも何もかも違います。もう一度。
ミクだよセブンイレブンイブン
カット。大丈夫ですか？誰か頭つけてあげてください。
I'm so thoroughly confused about some of those decisions. I will give props to the creator. That was created in like less than 10 days. And it's kind of cool that they used the 7-Eleven instead of the FamilyMart, because obviously there would be a massive, lawsuit if that was to happen. But still, kind of creepy. But then again, there are fans of any character out there that can create stuff like that are just as creepy as you can make it. Yeah. So, what was it? So we said in the chat right there. XJC13 says, "All my friend got some of those meat buns. So jealous." Oh, you should call them up and ask them if it was any good or not, or it's just one of those. Oh, it's a basic meat bun, and they just plastered Miku's face over it. It all depends on how detailed they got with the products. Little quick note. Well, we'll talk a little about video game note. I've been talking about the Scott Pilgrim game DLC, the little update. It's going to cost like $5, and it includes online 4-player multiplayer. Would totally re-energize this game so that everybody would start playing it again. I know I would. It was supposed to come out 3 days ago, but it wasn't until I think the 20th where they came out and stated, "Oh, it's going to come out later. It's been delayed to the fall, most likely October." I'm like, damn it! So, if people were waiting for that, yeah, I was too. I was bummed. We'll wait till it comes out. It's still going to be $5 to download just for the multiplayer aspect. For me, it's kind of worth it considering I only paid, I think, $5 or $6 for the full version. It was on sale. So hopefully it'll come out soon. They'll figure out what was causing the delay. All right. Here's a bit of news that is kind of surprising how crazy and how much Gkids is pushing for this release. Last week we were talking about Goro Miyazaki's latest film from Up on Poppy Hill. It's a Ghibli film. It's not by Hayao Miyazaki. It's by his son, but Hayao actually wrote the script. So you have promise there. I mean, a lot of us were discussing this as this could be like a mentorship from father to son to make sure he's there to take over when Hayao unfortunately passes away. So it's interesting that this is actually being distributed stateside by Gkids, not Disney. Went into a little bit of details about why Gkids and Disney can both own Ghibli licenses here in the States. So the way it works is Gkids signed a deal with Studio Ghibli to distribute 13 of the studio's anime films in North America. These are theatrical releases, Princess Mononoke, My Name is Totoro, Spirited Away, stuff like that. I'm guessing most of these are just the subtitle versions because Disney's the one that got the license to have some theatrical distribution, but all of the home video licenses. So they spend a lot more money on the dubs, and they got a lot more promotion. Gkids is going to release from Up on Poppy Hill in theaters across North America in 2 phases. The first one's going to be sometime in the November timeframe. That's going to be just like maybe a week or less in like a couple theaters in Hollywood. That's so they can possibly be accepted for nominations for the Academy Awards. Okay, that's cool. Another Ghibli film possibly getting a chance at an Oscar. I'm down for that. I love Spirited Away. More Ghibli films need Oscar statues. But around next March or so of 2013, they're going to release it, all over North America. Now, we originally thought this was going to be just subtitled. No. They're doing a dub. Now, the executive producers for the English version, it is being partly produced by Studio Ghibli, so you have that direct contact. Then you have the production powerhouse duo that has worked on a slew of films throughout, I think, 2 decades maybe. Let me bring that up. It's Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall. These people have worked with like Steven Spielberg, and they help with startup of like DreamWorks. They have clout in the industry. Then they know what they're doing. The other bit of news that was announced was who's directing the English dub. It's actually Ron Howard. He's also going to play a role as a part of the film. And then they just released on Wednesday, earlier today, I should say, that Gillian Anderson of X-Files fame is actually going to play a role in this movie as well. So you have Frank Marshall, Kathleen Kennedy, who I should say, by the way, also worked on the English dub of Ponyo and Secret World of Arrietty. So they know what Disney does in terms of get their dubs right. It's Ron Howard's only playing a part. It's Gary Reinstrom, who actually worked on... Oh, wow. Yeah, Titanic and Jurassic Park actually is directing the English dub. But you have Frank Marshall, Kathleen Kennedy, executive producing. You have Gary Reinstrom, who has a massive pedigree in what he's done, directing this. You have Ron Howard playing a role. You have Gillian Anderson playing a role. And these are the only people they've announced so far. There's at least 10 more, major roles in this film that's going to have to be filled by someone. So Gkids is, I would say, almost like drawing a line in the sand with Disney about who can create the better English dub of Ghibli films. Now, granted, this is not a film that Disney picked up the license for. Gkids is the only one that has that stateside. But maybe this is just one of those things that if Gkids, for some reason, does things right and gets that Oscar nom, or even possibly win, that's definitely a shot across the bow to Disney, and maybe there'll be a merger or something like that. Who knows? Alright. Some bit of a sad news about Nintendo Power. The magazine recently announced on its Twitter that they are ceasing publication as of their December issue, which will show up obviously in November. I had two thoughts about this. The first time I heard it, I thought they're still around. And second, it is kind of sad. Nintendo Power is actually produced by a third-party company that Nintendo licenses stuff to. And apparently Nintendo said, you know what? we don't feel like, continuing this partnership anymore. There's no word if this can continue on in a digital form. My question about this, one, why has this been in publication for so long and not have gone over to the digital realm like so many other magazines out there? Because basically, in my opinion, print publication has been dying for a while now. It's so much easier to read everything on mobile devices, tablets, laptops, phones, you name it. You can access the internet on every single one of those items, and then you can have all this at your fingertips. So, the other part I give props to Nintendo for sticking it out this long. But at least, this still has, I'm guessing, a decent amount of readers. Maybe it's just mostly a financial thing. And even at that point, moving to a digital form is a hell of a lot cheaper than print. So, oh well. Yeah, Nintendo's going down. There's still a couple more gaming magazines out there, but most of those other magazines have some sort of online presence. Hell, most of the anime publications out there still have a major online presence. Although, I'll do a quick tangent. I was a big fan of New Type USA when they came out. I still have all my issues, all the DVDs and whatnot, and of course it got too expensive, so they had to shut down. They moved on and created another magazine, which wasn't really as good, but I believe it still has some sort of online presence. I wish they would bring back New Type. Just bring back New Type to the States. Quit that other small little magazine you're working on and go back to New Type. Alright. Let's talk about some fan service. Oh, jeez. So, you've heard me describe the anime series Upote before, about the anthropomorphized weapons that look like high school girls and act like high school girls, and yet they're part weapons and they're not, and they're shooting their own weapons. It's confusing. It was gun porn mixed with high school slice of life. It was funny in some circumstances, but the majority of it I was just confused as all hell. They decided to create a new special for the upcoming Blu-ray release. It's going to be about 25 minutes long, about the same length of time as the regular episodes when they're on TV. And of course, this being a bonus straight to Blu-ray, there's a crap ton of fan service. Even though these girls, I swear, sometimes look like they're 12. Makes me wonder sometimes. So, I can't describe it any more than that. Let me just play this and we'll talk afterwards. See what I mean? Yeah. Fan service. And those girls, some of them look like they're 12, and then some of them... Physics just doesn't work in this universe, apparently. So, the Blu-ray package, when it comes out, will include this all-new episode. They go on summer vacation up to the mountains, and for some reason, they find a hot spring. Of course, why not? Yes. Now, it's going to be a bit on the pricey side. Actually, it might take it back. Just for the sparse amount of bonuses that this version is coming out with in Japan, it's a bit on the price, the cheap side on 4140 yen. I was backwards on that. And it's going to be available, I think it's September 15th. So, if you have friends in Japan and they're really into this series, have them go check it out. This is going to be obviously straight to Blu-ray. I believe there's going to be a DVD version as well. Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah. Let's jump back into some video game news. For those of you who have played Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2, there was some good DLC at the end of 13-2 that supposedly ended Lightning's saga so they can actually move on to Final Fantasy 15, because I know 14's that online thing, which I'm not even going to talk about that this episode. Yet, there was a new website that was just released on the public. And let me show you it right now. It says, "A Storm Gathers." This is on Square Enix's website for FinalFantasy13Game.com. This is stating that they're saying, okay, cool, we've shipped over 9.6 million units. We've been doing very well between Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13-2. Well, we're not done yet, because we're going to present a new direction in Lightning's story. I thought this was over. I thought this, her story was completed with that DLC. Apparently not. Maybe this is that mythical Final Fantasy 13 verses that they teased so long ago, but we've never seen anything except for a concept trailer that they still claim is actually still in the works. We'll see what happens. The information will be released September 1st, so when we find more, I'll let you guys know. But I thought that, Square Enix learned their lesson with Final Fantasy X. They had 10, they had 10-2, which was the first sequel in the entire franchise. And then they had 11, and yeah. But then with 13 they did 13-2, and then the DLC. I thought, okay, that was it. Cool. I like that story. Let's move on to something brand new. I know you guys have new ideas coming down the pipe. And yet, they're going to continue 13-2. I mean, Lightning's cool and all, but no character is that cool that you drag the story on and on and on and give, I think to this point now, 2 or 3 seemingly permanent endings, and yet you keep on finding more. Lightning has turned into Goku. She's going to die, she's going to come back, she's going to die again and come back one more time. Oh well. When it comes out, maybe we'll find some more information. A bit of quick side news. I'm a big fan of Maya Sakamoto. She's been performing for a long time. She has an amazing voice. Had worked with several of the top people in the anime industry in terms of music, especially Yoko Kanno. She has a brand new compilation CD coming out over the States, so I'm going to probably pick this up, cdjapan.com or something. But the best thing about this, it's going to include a brand new song that was actually written by Yoko Kanno. So we have a massive team up again. You got Maya Sakamoto and Yoko Kanno together again for at least one song. Yeah, I think I need to pick this up, and you guys should too. No word yet if it's going to come out on iTunes, but you know what? Having a physical copy of the CD straight from Japan, I think that's well worth the time. Okay. Should we talk more about remakes, or should we talk about a second season? Let's talk about a second season. There was a series that came out a couple seasons ago called Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukanai, or it was rephrased in here in the States as Haganai. It was picked up by Funimation. It was, again, high school slice of life story, but it was entertaining. It was entertaining in its, I wouldn't say just cuteness, but quirkiness at times. Well, they've announced that a second season will be coming out, and they've released a new trailer to promote it. Now, obviously, it's not going to be subtitled. There hasn't been a subtitled version that's come out yet. But basically, the gist of this video is the cast of the first series is coming back to try to convince viewers why the series is awesome and why they can tune in for the second season. And they fail miserably. So, enjoy. So, fan service abounds. There'll be a lot of fan service in this episode. So, as you can see, there's a lot of slapstick in there. They definitely focus on the cute factor. They, of course, you have the range of your typical characters. There's a shy character, overly zealous character, all that jazz. I still find that some of the characters in this series were recently awarded, I think, one of the cutest big-breasted women in anime of 2012 by a poll by Big Globe, which does a lot of polls. But yeah, as they say in the chat, Melomon service, yes, very much so. The second season will come out sometime in January. I watched about the first, I'd say 4 or 5 episodes of the first season. I may need to find some time between now and January to finish that series so I can watch this next season. It looks cute. It's definitely not something that has a lot of depth, but then again, you don't need to have every single series you watch to be very thought-provoking, so we'll see what happens. Alright, time for some awesome news. I was going to say interesting, but this is actually awesome. So, any Western fans out there, you might remember, the award-winning Western Unforgiven. I mean, who can forget, Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven? Awesome, awesome, awesome Western movie. It's getting a remake. but not what you think. It's actually going to be remade as a samurai period film in Japan. The film is scheduled to start shooting in September, and the main character is going to be played by Ken Watanabe. You know, Last Samurai, Members of a Geisha, and a ton of other movies out there. So, we're going to take the classic Western, turn into a samurai film, throw Ken Watanabe in there, and you have a couple other people who've actually performed in not classic, but very popular films like Tsukiyasi Western Django. There's Akira Imoto who actually performed in the most recent Ace Attorney movie. It's being helmed by an award-winning director from over in Japan, who's actually won several awards for his movies from actually just last year. And the interesting thing about this is it's kind of full circle, because one of Clint Eastwood's first films was actually A Fistful of Dollars, but was actually a remake of an Akira Kurosawa film, Yojimbo. So he started his series off remaking a samurai piece, and now one of his best Western movies is turning into a samurai piece. It's going to be released in Japan next fall. This movie damn well better come over stateside. I'm actually very curious to check this out. Another piece of information. There's been a lot of news up and down about the remake of the Old Boy film. It's actually based on a manga about a man who was thrown in jail for 15 years and then he doesn't know why he was imprisoned. He comes out and he has fancy clothes, a cell phone, lots of money. And apparently the person who threw him in there has plans for like revenge upon him or something like that. So I haven't read the manga yet. I haven't seen the original movie. The remake kind of sounds interesting. It's been going up and down about who's going to be in it. It's been going to be directed by Spike Lee, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with that. But they announced that Samuel L. Jackson is going to play a role in this film. Once you assign Samuel L. Jackson into a movie, especially with something like the content of Old Boy, I can see nothing but good stuff coming out of this film. Now, granted, because the news keep on going back and forth about when the production is going to start, who's going to be in it, who's actually going to produce it, this news may not go anywhere. It'd be great if we get some more solid news about, okay, it's going to start filming at this time, it's going to be released, next summer or something like that. I want to see this movie made, and especially when now you have Sam Jackson in it, so that could be cool. Not too much more news about there. The only last thing we have for right now is NicoNico. NicoNico.com, or the full title NicoNico Duga, has been considered like the Japan's YouTube. But then of course they have a lot of streaming stuff as well. They started streaming a bunch of anime a couple of years ago, and of course they have the English version NicoNico.com, to which you have a deal with Funimation to actually stream anime on there. So that's just another website where you can watch a bunch of great anime. But they also stream live concerts. One thing they haven't streamed yet is Animelo, which is a summer concert festival in Japan. Usually takes about 2 or 3 days, and it's nothing but anime and video game theme songs. The bonus part is that some of these musicians, some of these these actors and actresses, they'll collaborate for a one-time event during Animelo every year. So you always have that special something that's going to happen only at Animelo. And NicoNico has actually announced that they're going to be live streaming Animelo this year, which is a 2-day event, and it's going to feature some amazing artists. I mean, we're talking, where I found this, Lisa, Main, Yuri Horie, Daisuke Ono. Even Miku's going to show up to do a couple songs. I'm stoked for this. To hype up this upcoming concert series, for the 3 days beforehand, NicoNico is actually going to broadcast clips from Animelo 2011 and 2010. How cool is that? The best part about it, the 2010-2011 clips are going to be streamed for free. So if you've never seen Animelo before, you can go on NicoNico.com, Go check this out. Go check out the stream of those 2 years. You'll know what I'm talking about. It is amazing what they put together every single year for this summer series. And then pay, I think it's like less than $10 to actually watch the live stream. Now, granted, this is actually going to be on Japan time. So what starts, the 2012 concert starts August 25th, I think at 9 p.m. Japan time. So that's 5 a.m. Pacific. So you're either going to stay up late or just wake up very, very early to watch it. Of course, also, if you have a NicoNico account, like most things, if you pay for the stream, you can actually go and watch it after the recorded version for free because you've already paid for it. So that's going to come out, like 3 days. So I think tonight's the first start of the 2010 concert. So go on NicoNico.com, just search for Animelo, Animelo, and you can go check that out and enjoy it. And shoot me a tweet or something on Facebook, and let me know what you think of it. But that's pretty much it I have for this episode of AniBreak. It was kind of a slow week, very varied week in terms of what had more content: anime, video games, manga, whatnot. So on Friday we're gonna have another episode of From My Mother's Basement. We'll have Michael back on that. He's already been showing a couple things that he wants to talk about for the episode. It's gonna be awesome. We always have a blast on that. And of course, I will be getting the previous episodes for the past 2 weeks up, hopefully within the next 24 hours. I know I've been lagging on that, and I apologize. I know our Indiegogo.com campaign just ended yesterday. I want to thank every single person who actually donated for that, including my good friend Ruben, who donated a significant amount at the last minute last night, which is extremely helpful. Those funds are actually, I think I already went out and purchased some new lights for Michael, and we got a couple more things we'll be doing throughout the year. So we will try to work out something if you guys want to buy a shirt later on without being a part of this campaign. I'll work something out and put something on the website if you are interested. For those who actually did donate enough to get a shirt, I'll be ordering those shirts later this week, and you should have them probably in about 2 weeks' time. Alright, well that's it for this episode of AniBreak. I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight. Be sure to check out the website, OtakuLife.net, and keep on just following us. You can catch me on Twitter, OtakuLifeJason. Same thing for my new Facebook page. If you haven't liked that yet, go to facebook.com/OtakuLifeJason, because my old one, which I thought I changed, Facebook doesn't let that. It was still showing as AXLiveJason, so I kind of had to get rid of that one. So, well, thank you very much, guys, for joining us, and we will see you next week for another episode of AniBreak. But you can catch us on Friday for a very awesome episode of From My Mother's Basement. Take care. Thank you very much.